All right, I think we can go ahead and get started on this gorgeous morning with the best forecast we've ever had for the Route 66 Festival. I want you to know we've worked a lot of years to get this weather. We've worked really hard at it. I
want you to know I take full credit.
I think you did that the other night, too. Welcome to all of you. As most of you know, this is our 13th year. I was just telling the mayor, I was thinking back to when we first announced we were going to do this event. I remember telling some of you in the media were actually here. Dave, I think you were here at that first announcement. And I remember telling the media, oh, we're going to do this event and we're hoping to get 400 or 500 cars for our first year. Secretly, I was hoping we'd get 100 or 200 cars for our first year and maybe a few hundred people to come out. And to see where we've come in 13 years to an event that brings in over 1,000 cars from around the country. As of last night, we had 800 pre-registered, and tons more will come in today and tomorrow from 18 states and Canada. We know we've got groups coming in from United Kingdom, from Germany, from Australia, from New Zealand. We have a film crew from the BBC in London that's going to be here filming as part of a Route 66 show that they're doing. We have a film group from Brazil that's going to be in. So anybody that questions whether or not this is international, I think we've proven it. But we couldn't be where we are with this event without the partners that have come together to make this happen and make it happen every year. This community has embraced this event really like no other, I think. From our local business people, like Casey Kahn and the Kahn family with Obed and Isaacs, and the downtown businesses who open their doors and welcome in the visitors from around the United States and around the world. Excuse me, out of breath. And the local car lovers, the Mustang group that showed up here today and are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Mustang. So they'll be a big part of the show this year. Thank you very much for coming out to be with us. And organizations like Family Events are people on the ground that make sure all the logistics happen for the event. Organizations like the Illinois Route 66 Scenic Byway that puts together the Travel Illinois Expo. Our many tourism partners, people like the Illinois Office of Tourism. Jan Kimmerling is here from the Illinois Office of Tourism, who helps support this event from day one and have been our biggest backers all the way through. The Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau, Gina Gemberling is here, the acting director of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and her staff, who help us in so many ways in promoting this event and in supporting everything that we do. Our volunteer board of directors, if all of you could raise your hands, this is just a volunteer group of people from throughout the community who have been with this event from the very beginning that help make it happen each year. And of course, the city of Springfield. We could not do this without the support of the mayor of Springfield and the agencies that work with the mayor of Springfield. And I'd like to introduce Mayor Houston to say a few words.
Thank you. Well, just while we've stood here, I've seen at least 3 cars pass by that I would love to own. One of the things I've always had a passion for are the early 1950 Corvettes, and one of them went by and about fell over, and then the next 2 cars right behind them I would have just loved to have had also. Kim, thanks for all that you do, and I will take full credit for the weather, because it is absolutely fantastic. But it is my pleasure to invite back the owners, the drivers, the spectators, and the fans to the 13th annual International Route 66 Mother Road Festival and Car Show here in the great American city of Springfield. One of the things that we know about Springfield, Illinois, it is always legendary. For anyone who missed Wednesday evening's announcement by the Convention and Visitors Bureau, always legendary is the new branding for Springfield. The Route 66 Mother Road Festival and Car Show is always legendary for those individuals who return year after year to participate. We are again all gassed up and ready to drive home another successful Route 66 Mother Road Festival. The Route 66 Mother Road Festival and Car Show is a major event for Springfield. Its 13-year history has resulted in thousands of visitors, thousands of overnight stays, and millions of dollars in economic impact for our community. These visitors fill our hotels, purchase our goods and services, eat in our great restaurants like Obed and Isaac's. Many of the visitors take time to check out our historic sites or to schedule a time to return if they are not able to do so on this trip. What's become distinctive about the Route 66 Mother Road Festival and Car Show over the years is the draw of attendees from outside the United States. For our international visitors, cruising Route 66 is a new rite of passage for many foreigners who want to do something American and take that experience home to their family and friends. It doesn't get any more American than this. Trips on Route 66 are built upon the stories of the road, legends if you will, and there's no better place for that legendary U.S. Route 66 experience than this festival right here in the heart of downtown Springfield. This year we do have a film crew from the BBC in London that will be arriving in Springfield late this afternoon to film the car parade, and we'll be filming the car show on Saturday, which really speaks to the international appeal of this event. So without further ado, let's kick off another always legendary festival and encourage everyone in Greater Springfield and beyond to come out and participate in this amazing event. And Kim, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And I would also like to recognize our downtown alderman, Corey Jobe. Thank you for being here today. Always so supportive of everything we do. And really in the heart of Springfield. Our downtown is our heart. It's the heartbeat of what we have in Springfield. And so this event really showcases that. And we hear from our visitors every year that that's one of the great appeals of this event, is that it's in our downtown. And so that they can experience everything, not just the car show, not just the music on the stages and the street festival aspect of it, but our businesses, our restaurants, our historic sites, everything that makes our city unique. So it really is the perfect venue for this event. Another partner that we started working with last year that it just has developed into such an awesome partnership, and that is our charity, and that is Crime Stoppers of Sangamon and Menard counties. And to talk a little bit about that, I'd like to introduce Officer Matt Gallay.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Kim Rosendahl and all the members of the Route 66 Mother Road Festival Board for encouraging the partnership with Crime Stoppers. This is a very important event for us, and it's something we all really enjoy. What we're going to do this year is we're asking for a $5 donation to go to Crime Stoppers during the City Nights cruise this evening. What that will also get you is a collectible window cling, which is an exact duplicate of what's on the board behind me, and this is something that the cruisers can display on their windshields to show that they're supporting Crime Stoppers, that they're actively participating in the cruise, and we'll also be selling these downtown during the actual show. Without fundraisers like this, and without getting the donations from the public, Crime Stoppers would not be able to pay the cash rewards that we do to our anonymous tipsters. Our anonymous tipsters are the very reason that we've been very successful for over 30 years in helping to solve and prevent crime. So again, this is a very important event for us. We look for a lot of participation from the community. We've already seen a lot of cars coming through the area, and they look fantastic. So we're looking forward to gathering up tonight at the Capital City Shopping Center. The cruise will kick off about 6:15. We're going to be probably towards the front, but we're going to representatives of our board of directors will be out meeting some of the people as they come in, asking for the donations, and providing the window clings for anyone who's interested. So I'm looking forward to it tonight. It should be a lot of fun, and I'll be saying hi to everybody, and I'll be looking forward to seeing people downtown as well. Again, thank you on behalf of Crime Stoppers. This is a great event for us.
Okay, with that, we just want to encourage everybody to come down, enjoy our legendary downtown, and start meeting some of the living legends of Route 66 that will be here for this event. So with that, I'd like to open it up. If anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to answer them, and hope everybody has a fabulous weekend. Yeah, Dave? You know, there is a Route 66 author that made a statement several years ago that I've always felt really holds true, and that is, mile for mile in Illinois, you can experience more Route 66 than in any other state. Because in some of the other states, you have to drive a long distance between Route 66 iconic stops, and in Illinois, you don't. You can see something Route 66 probably every 20 or 30 miles. Okay, car guys, somebody help me here. Somebody, car guy, Mark, somebody.
You gotta look first.
I don't know what happened in the 80s, but I can tell you, as someone who was around in the 50s, that if you talk about cars from the 1950s and 1960s, I not only can identify what kind of car it is, I can tell you what kind of model it is, whether that's the original paint job on the cars or not. And maybe part of that is the fact that young people in those days were really interested in cars, and they were interested in what was under in the engines. And I think that probably doesn't happen today, because people can afford to buy nicer cars today. Most people, when you go back to that period of time when you bought your first car, it was generally an old car, and what you were doing is trying to polish it up, fix it up, and cars really didn't last like they do today. So that could be some of the reason.
We've had really good response every year from people coming from around the United States. As I said earlier, this year 18 states and Canada just in car registrations only. So this does really it resonates nationally. If you go online and Google International Route 66 Mother Road Festival, you'll see how many people are talking about it. It's all over the place. Not that I know of, but we've had them here in the past, and sometimes they show up and we don't even know that they're coming. So hopefully, we'd love to see them. Anybody? Yes.
If you haven't traveled to Europe and Asia, you really have no idea how popular Route 66 is outside of this country. It is the one thing that foreigners really know. And I think it was last year, had a dinner right here at Obed and Isaac's with a group of people that were managers that put together tour groups. And the one thing that really excited them was Route 66. And Route 66 was far more exciting to them than Mr. Lincoln. And that really gives you an idea that when you start talking about going to Europe and you walk, which I have done, down a street in Paris and see a Route 66 shop, or you're in Hong Kong and you're at a place and they have a map of Route 66 with a big star for Springfield, it gives you an idea just the popularity around the world of Route 66, and that people really look at Route 66 as the American experience.
Yes, go ahead, Rex. Go to the microphone though.
Having had the pleasure to travel a distance on Route 66 out west, out to Kingston, Arizona, and hitting all the spots, it's hard not to mention Bob Waldmeyer, who is iconic to the city of Springfield. Every place I stopped, there was drawings of Bob that he had made through the years. We got out to Kingston. There was a half-hour show, movie that he was in. So he is recognized, throughout Route 66 from beginning to end. And, I've had the pleasure of meeting him. He passed away, I believe, in '09. Buzz, his brother, will have a few of his cars, the Volkswagen bus that you would recognize out of Cars as Fillmore, out of the Cars Pixtel movie. But Buzz will have some of his renderings here for sale. But I feel it necessary to mention Bob. That he was really great for Route 66.
Thank you, Rex. Thanks. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Yeah, Sean. Okay, car guys again. You know, my knowledge of cars is that one's really cool and I'd like to drive it. So.
And for the right price, you probably can.
The focus on the show is, of course, the 50s and 60s and 70s. There may be some newer vehicles brought in. We don't have any GM or Ford or any of those that are actually making the trip here with new product. Good step back. I think GM last year had a few of the new cars out, but this is about the 50s, 60s, and 70s. The baby boomers. We had at that time we were pretty liquid on cash. We all had cars. You go back in the 50s, it was Icy Root Beer out on North Grand. 60s, 70s, it was Topps Big Boy out here. Burn up a lot of gas out there.
And rubber.
Never sped or did anything illegal myself. But you get a feeling. This takes you back. When you go through the city here and you look at cars, you go back to the car that you really wanted back in the 50s, back in the 60s. It brings back an era that is no longer here. Back when the 50s and 60s, every year a car changed. We had fins, we had them horizontal, we had them vertical, but every year a new design came out. That is not the case anymore. You can't hardly tell one from the other. But I find that coming to this show, talking to people that I grew up with, that I have met through this show, it brings back a time and a feeling that is long past. The music is reminiscent of that time, and there's no restraints. I always suggest when you see a car or an individual that's sitting there, ask a question about that car. You will get an earful. Sometimes you might have to try to walk away. But they take very great pride in their vehicles, and they want to talk about them. So don't feel shy. We all love it.
It costs a lot to run it, let me tell you that. Any proceeds every year, anything that's left over goes to our charity, which would be Crime Stoppers. Yeah, this is a not-for-profit group. This is not a for-profit show in any way, shape, or form. So, okay. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Have a great weekend.